Right, let's say you've got 2 bits of metal and you're going to weld them in, and you don't want to butt weld, you want to put one over the other, but you want them flat like that. Obviously these are 2 different thicknesses. Right, so you want them flat like that, but you don't want to do that. So you want to step it, right? So you'd go down the route of buying something like this. And the idea being, you plonk it in there and you squeeze the bejesus out of it, and it's supposed to make a step. It doesn't. All it does is marks the metal. And this is thinner. Right, so let's try that one. Right, and bend it, and that's as much as you can get on it. Right, and as you can see, it doesn't do anything. There's no step there. It just does that. So what you need to do, instead of spending 20, 30, 40, 100 quid on something like this, don't bother. Go to Wix, and I'll show you why. And all you need is a welder, right, and then a little bit of knowledge, a grinder and stuff like that. And you go to Wix and you get this piece of angle iron like this, right? There you go. This was, don't know if you can see the code there, that helps. But it's a piece of 20mm by 20mm by 3mm angle iron. And I've cut 2 lengths, 2 bits of that down to 200mm. That gives me out of a metre, that gives me 600mm piece left, which I can use later if I want to. And also, while you're there, you get a piece of this. Don't know if you'll see the code on that. Right, and I don't know what size this is. It wasn't, oh yeah, there you go. It's, I don't know if it'll focus, but it's 10mm by 2mm flat bar. Right, so the plan is, what you do is you cut 2 pieces of your flat bar down, and you cut 2 pieces of your angle iron down. And then what you do, the plan is you get your angle iron and you have it overlap, obviously clean it up ready for welding, but overlap it. I don't know if that's going to focus properly. Oh, let's get in the camera. Should be doing things on your own. So you overlap the flat bar over the edge of the angle iron like that. Oh, a couple of mil. Clamp it up and then weld down there. Then on your other piece of angle iron that you cut and your other piece of flat bar, you align out with the top edge like this. And again, you can either flat with the top edge. I don't know if it's going, it keeps losing focus. Come here. And you weld that top down. So what you end up with is you end up with a piece like this, like that. See, welding's not that great, but you don't want your weld overhanging the front edge. Okay, that's number one. Your second one, on your bottom edge of your angle iron, you weld another bit on, and that's why you overhang it a couple of mil. And then the idea being is that when these 2 go together in your vise, because you obviously need a vise for this as well, right? You've got your step, and the idea is that these 2 pieces of angle iron will sit on top of your vise, and then as you tighten your vise up, you squish and fold. Now, it's a bit hard to hold it by hand, but you can see that there is a gap in the middle. So what you do is you then right, so once you've got those welded and you grind your welds down a little bit, you go and take it into your vise, you drop these 2 in your vise like that. Oh, get rid of that way. These 2 in your vise like that, and you put your piece of metal between, and you clamp it up, and you end up with a step like that. I don't know if you can see that well. Obviously I didn't hold this in the vise straight, I just threw it in and tightened it up just to try it out. So that took me about half hour to make, and it cost me 11 quid from Wix. Now as you can see, that piece, obviously this is really bad because it's just offcuts, but if I was to plunk that into there to weld that on there, I've got a nice flat piece of metal across there, and on the other side it's fully supported. So if that was big, because this is what's going to, it's not this piece, but the bigger piece is going to go into the floor. I'm going to cut out on my floor in my car, and then that's going to sit on the existing like that, and then I'll weld across there, and then I'll weld on that bit on the inside, on the outside underneath the car. And there you go. So if you want to see this in action, we can do that quickly, but I don't know how this camera's going to hold up, and so you have to excuse my shed, because I literally just went to Wix and made this because I was disappointed with that tool when it turned up last night. Don't know how we're going to do this. All right, okay. So we got, there's our first bit, plonk. There's our second bit. We need to make some room. Right. Okay, so as you can see, got our 2 bits of angle iron. I'm going to tighten up so it's close enough so it don't fall, because I'm going to try and do this with one hand. So that other piece was 2mm steel. This is 1mm. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that there. Right, you're going to have to bear with this a second while I hold that, just to pinch it. Right, okay. So I've got it pinched in. Just going to tighten that up. And as you see, the metal bent and folded. Give it a little bit for luck. Now I'm going to undo that. And there's your perfect step. How about that? There you go. So if you're doing any metal work on your car, don't worry about one of those tools. Just make a couple of bits of that up.